What's up, everyone? We are back for another episode of TMP, and my very special guest today from Texas, Mr. Branch Warren. What's up, Branch?
What's up, DJ? How you doing?
Mr. Wicked. I call you Wicked now. How's that going for you, man? You got this new beef jerky. I didn't even know that was you. I thought you were just sponsored by a beef jerky company in the beginning.
Man, it's me and we know Scott James. He's the founder, owner of BSN.
Yes.
And so we partnered up. It's we've been open May. It'll be 3 years, our 3-year anniversary. So we got together. We were on a plane, and I think flying to Olympia, and we ended up sitting next to each other. And we got to talking, and he said, "Hey, I always want to do something with you." And he'd already sold BSN at that point. And I said, all right. And I'm thinking he wants to do something in the fitness, industry, something like that. Well, he said, when we get back to town, we'll go to lunch. And so we got back to town, we met. And he said, what do you think about doing beef jerky? I'm like, beef jerky? I'm like, I like it, but I'm like, I don't know nothing about it.
Yeah.
And he goes, I don't either, but we're going to learn. And so, the way he pitched it to me was, okay, with supplements, what are you marketing to? 3% of the population, maybe? 4-5% at the most, maybe. So with beef jerky, you market to everybody that ain't a vegan. And so we have beef jerky, turkey jerky, chicken, bacon, all this different stuff, beef sticks. Now we got seasonings. So, instead of just marketing to, nutrition shops and gyms, which we do, but, we can market at gas stations, hardware stores, Walmart, grocery stores, and anywhere. I mean, you go to Home Depot at the checkout line.
Yeah.
They got beef jerky right there at the counter.
Right.
So, it's everywhere. So, the possibilities are endless, and I like the challenge of learning something new. So it's been good.
And it's obviously successful.
It is. So we're doing really well. We started off direct to consumer, and then we, during the pandemic, we grew over 300%. Our business model was not that I wish I could say, oh, we saw it coming. I don't think anybody saw that coming, but we were set up perfect for what happened, and that really gave us a huge lift in 2020. And our wholesale market is doing really well. We just launched in GNC about 3 weeks ago. So we'll be in all the GNC stores here over the coming months. I think we're in 300 right now. We're in, 800 plus vitamin shops. We're in Pilot Flying J truck stops. We're in about 1,200 nutrition stores and gyms across the country, and expanding by the day.
That's crazy, man. See, think about it. Think about beef jerky. Nobody thinks about what beef jerky. Okay, all right. It's like, another example, Juan Morel with his damn cookies.
Yes.
And I love them. I swear to God, I eat them cookies almost every day. It's that crazy. I had the first cookie at the Olympia because he sponsored the Olympia.
I did too. That's when I tried it the first time at the Olympia.
Yes, I tried one and I told him, I said, man, because I was really hungry too. I mean, backstage, I had my suit on, and there was a guy backstage with a microwave, and I was like, you know what? I'm so hungry. Let me try one of them cookies. He said, do you mind me if I heat it up for you? I said, go ahead, heat it up, man. Boy, I told that cookie a new one. I swear to God, I told him, I said, this cookie was awesome. And since then, he has me on some kind of list. I'll get a box like every 2-3 days. I was like, what is he trying to do? He's trying to sabotage all this, But come to think about it, I remember Karen, she was doing the cookies for him when he had his cheat days, And I don't know how this happened, but I guess somebody said, you know what? Because he was eating that stuff on social media, because he had his high cheat days, and people started talking about the cookies, I guess. And look at him now. I mean, he done moved up like 7 up.
Man, it blew up.
Unbelievable. There's and I said there's nothing in there for us. I mean, it's double butter, double sugar, double everything.
But hey, when you eat a cookie, you want to eat a healthy cookie. You want to eat a damn cookie that tastes good.
Right, right.
So I ain't never eat those high protein cookies, all that stuff. I'm like, man, if I'm going to eat a cookie, I'm going to get the real deal.
Right. The only thing is confusing is every box I get, it's different names. I mean, I'm so confused. I'm just, if I like one, you can send me the same cookie over and over, that the one that I liked I think it was Juan's favorite. But now I get names, I don't even know where they come up with all the names. I think the hardest part for them is probably come up with new names, because unbelievable. Let me ask you this, though. Did you, before bodybuilding, or I don't know if it was during bodybuilding, did you have a different company? Did you had a different set of income? You were never...
I've always worked for myself. I always had a business. So when I, right out of, I took off, I did my last, when I competed a lot as a teenager. 19, I did my last show, won the Open Mr. Texas. at 19, and then I was going to school. I worked 3 jobs to get through school, so I got into powerlifting, and because you ain't got to eat like you do as a bodybuilder, and there's no way I knew going to school, working 3 jobs, going to school full time, ain't no way I'm going to have the time to dedicate. I know it was going to happen. I was going to flunk out of college. So I took off from bodybuilding, but I kept training. So I started doing powerlifting, and it was turned to be a blessing because, I got bigger, thicker, and all that. It paid off down the road later. So I got out of school and opened up my own gym. And I had my own gym here in South Lake, which is actually my gym is just right from where our corporate office is now for Wiki Cuts. It was a mile and a half down the road from where I'm at right now. So, but had a personal training gym, and we still train at Metroflex every day because anybody that owns their own gym knows it's really hard to work out at your own place. Right. Because people won't come up and talk to you, get interrupted, and you're trying to train for Mr. Olympia. You don't want to be interrupted. So I had that for 8-9 years, and then me and my wife got married, and she worked for a freight forwarding company, a logistics company. So we got to talking. I think the company was going under, and she said, I probably need to find another job. And I said, well, talk to your customers and see if they'd give us a shot. And she says, well, I don't know how to start a business. I said, I'll take care of that. You just talk to the customers and see if they give us a shot. So opened up a freight forwarding company, a logistics company, and we had that for 10 years. We sold it 4 or 5 years ago. Okay. So you're not doing that no longer. So, but that was your main income back then, that was right? So, well, bodybuilding surpassed it. But my thing with bodybuilding, how many guys actually make a good living for bodybuilding? True. 6, 7, 8. Yeah. You're in the top 10. Maybe, yeah. If you're really true, if you're in the top 5 or 6. Well, I mean, when you say good living, yeah, wild at the moment, but who's going to be so successful that they can live off it for the rest of their life? Correct. So, and like I tell people, we don't make NBA or NFL money. Yeah. If you're the top guys, you're gonna make a really good living. But when it's over, you're gonna still be young and have a lot of living left to do. So, my thing was, Dennis, I grew up so poor. I'm like, I ain't never want to live like that again. And I don't want my family to live like that. And so, I gave my mother a better life, my family a better life, and because of bodybuilding primarily, but also because I worked and had a business. So I based all my living off of my business. And what bodybuilding, I was very blessed to be very successful. And that was all just saved for my future. And, and that's how I went about it. Because as any athlete, man, you could be driving to the gym, getting a car wreck, and your career's over. It's over. You get hurt bad, I mean, just like that. It don't matter who you are. I mean, unless your name is Branch Warren. Well, I dodged a few bullets, man. It could have been over a bunch of times. Yeah, and I wanted to talk about this here because you said it. Yes, it is true. I mean, a major injury, major tear, a quad tear, I would say, is 90% that's a career-ending injury. But not for Branch Warren. Branch Warren wins the Arnold Classic. I don't remember. What was it, the first year, your first Arnold Classic you won? 2011 was the first one. And then immediately after, is it the same year when you tore your quad? Yeah, so I'd gotten third at the Olympia, went to the Arnold, won the Arnold, got first, and then I was training for the Olympia in 2011. I was 30 days out, and I never traveled. When I was about 8, 9, 10 weeks out, I stopped traveling. I was traveling to Atlanta, do a favor for a friend, and do an appearance, and walked out of a restaurant. It was storming, and dude, I slipped off the curb, some freak deal. And was it icy? No, it was just raining. It was raining real hard. Okay. And my buddy went and got the truck, and he pulled it up right in front of the restaurant there. And of course, I had my Tupperware, full of food, because I wouldn't eat out when I was that close. And so I'm kind of, I'm walking. I step off the curb, and it's like the handicap thing. So it's got that paint, and it was slick with the water on it. So my left foot just slid out in front of me. My right foot caught the lip of the curb, and you're trying to stop, and that concentric force just ripped it right off the bone, and I fell to the ground. I remember I was laying there in the rain, and my leg was like in some weird position that it would never naturally go in, and I grabbed my pants leg and straightened my leg out. And I remember I grabbed my quad right above the knee. Man, the muscle wasn't there no more. It already pulled up. So you knew right away what's happening. And I knew right away what I did. And man, you laying there, and I'm thinking, man, is this how it ends? After all that work and everything finally is, for me, I was at the top of the world, right, top of my career. And I'm like, is this how this shit is going to end? In a damn parking lot in Atlanta, Georgia. And, because I never had a knee pain in my life. I squatted 800 pounds in a power to meet before. Mm-hmm. And nothing, no pain, nothing. And so I called my wife. I said, get me a flight home. I said, get a first class ticket and the closest to the doors you can get. And I don't care what it costs, I'm coming home. So I flew home that night, called my doctor from the airport, and this is on a Saturday. He said, man, I'll see you in the morning. And so I went, he opened the office up for me on a Sunday, and he goes, yeah, you totally detached it. He goes, well, I'll send you for MRI at 6 o'clock Monday morning, and we'll do surgery after that. So I had to reattach on Monday morning. And so it was Wednesday, 2 days post-surgery. I'm sitting in my sitting in the recliner at my house, and you're reading the forums and all that. That's when all the forums, and social media is really starting to take off. And you know how it is. Everybody's preaching writing your obituary for you.
Oh yeah.
You're done. That's it. You're over. Can't come back. No one's ever done it. And I started getting pissed. I was like sitting there. I was like, man, ain't nobody gonna tell me when I'm done.
Right.
Like when I retire, it's gonna be on my terms. When I'm fucking good and ready to retire, and I'm like, oh, fine. And I sat there and I just got madder and madder. And I was like, you know what? Fuck these people.
Joe Weider's Olympia here in Orlando, Florida. A little bit strange coming out of Las Vegas for all of those years.
Good evening, and welcome to the event that nearly never happened.
There's been an absence of a particular group of people on this stage that are back tonight. Tonight I'm here to say, welcome back to Miss Olympia.
I go, I'm gonna fucking do the Arnold. And I told Trish, I said, hey, I'm gonna do the Arnold. She goes, in like 6 months? I go, in 6 months. And she looks at me and she says, she says, and my wife is black and white, man. There's no gray, you're in or out, yes or no, there's no maybe. And she goes, well, if you're gonna do the Arnold, you better start eating. And she went and got me a freaking plate of rice and chicken, threw it in my lap. And that's when I started training for the Arnold.
So how long were you out before you went back into the gym? I mean, you had the surgery when?
Surgery on a Monday.
What month?
Days.
What month was it?
So I believe the Olympia was like in the middle of September that year. So this was like August 20th or something like that.
So that was literally before the Olympia.
Yes.
Wow. So
yeah, like 30 days or less.
So let's say August, you totally not injured, you tore your quad off the bone.
Completely.
In August, and you won the Arnold in March.
First, like March 2nd or something.
That's
like that, March 3rd.
I know that's unheard of. I mean, people usually wait 6 months before they get back into the gym.
Well, the doctor told me, he goes, I'm talking to him, he goes, you're gonna be 6 months before you can really train. And he goes, and to compete at your level, he goes, it's going to be a year. He goes, probably the Olympia next year you could potentially be ready for. And I was already in great shape 30 days out from the Olympia. Obviously, my legs, I can't use it at the moment. So I'm thinking, all right, I'm already in shape. So I'll just keep training. So the next Monday, 1 week post-surgery, I show up at the gym on crutches. And remember, Johnny looked at me and he goes, yo, bro, what are you doing? I said, I'm going to do chest. He shook his head. He's like, you crazy fucker. And so I did chest, man, and I trained everything. I even did legs. I just did my left leg because I'd learned from a previous injury, if you train the opposite side of your body, it'll keep the injured side from atrophying as much. And
you believe that?
I know it I did it and experienced it.
Okay.
I know it. Yeah, I've done it twice. And I know when I tore a tricep, I trained the other side of my body, and it kept that side from atrophying as much.
See,
so,
I didn't know that. I always tell people, when you have an injury like this, just rest. It's the best thing you can do for your body. Just rest. I mean, listen, you're a different breed. This does not apply to a Brand Warren or even a Johnny Jackson. I'm just so you were in shape, and you just stuck to everything. You stuck to the program, so you never let your body get off, go off and get out of shape. So you stayed in shape all this time. You just had to, while you're training and dieting for the Arnold, you just still had to heal your quad tear. It's unbelievable.
So your leg is, for 6 weeks, you can't bend your leg. It's immobilized. You've got a cast brace on it or whatever. And, because it takes about 6 weeks for that tendon to reattach itself to the bone. They suture it down, but you got to let the tendon, grow back to the bone. And at that point, then it's just getting range of motion back. So, and that was the hardest part. Is just being able to bend your leg all the way again. It ain't fun. And
I believe it. Were you in pain?
Yeah, hell yeah. It's the most painful. I would say it's the most painful 6 months I've ever endured.
Were you ever at a point where you said, "Fuck it, I can't do it. This is not going to work"?
No, never. I knew I was going to be able to compete. I never doubted myself. I'm like, because I was willing to do whatever it took to compete. I didn't know whether I was going to compete successfully until about 30 days out from the Arnold. It was probably around the first week of February. I trained and then I posed afterwards. I was looking in the mirror and I was like, I can do this. And but up until then, I didn't know because the leg wasn't, it didn't get all the fullness back yet. It just wasn't. It was coming back, but I didn't know if it was going to come back fast enough to compete successfully. And so about 4 weeks out, I posed and I was like, all right, I can do this. And I continued to improve all the way up to the show.
So were you still in pain when you competed at that Arnold?
Man, just walking around, no. I had to totally train, for this prep, I got Brian Dobson, owner of Metroflex. He trained Ronnie, trained me, Johnny, all them. I got him to train me again. And I said, hey, man, I need help with this one. And so we talked about how we're going to do it. And only time, and I've known the man for 29 years, only time I disagreed with him. I was like, I don't know about that. And so we came back the next day and we kind of had the whole conversation again. And I was like, you know what? It's in your hands. Whatever you say do, I'll do. And look back on it. I'm glad I made that decision.
So what did your leg workout look like at that point when you came back?
So we did a lot of, we did some isolation stuff for that quad, but most of it was we just trained normal. We did leg presses, man. We did squats. We did walking lunges, things like this. And, at the end of the workout, we would do some isolate. We do one-legged leg press and extensions, some things to isolate that quad and hamstring too, to get them back. But 80% of the workout was just normal training. And we did, I knew I wasn't going to go super heavy because I knew it was going to take a while to get my strength back. So we just did reps, man. I mean, it was like, instead of squatting real heavy, we do 315, but we worked up to where we could do 40, 50 reps with it, and his thing was like, let's get as much blood into that leg as we possibly can, because that's what it's all about, right? End of the day, the more blood you get in there and tear it down, it comes back bigger and stronger. So
I think you got to have a total different attitude in order to go through not only a quad tear, but to come back from a quad tear in such a short amount of time. That takes a different animal. That shows truly who you are. Because I don't think not everybody could do this, man. That's not possible.
And Dennis, it's just about, man, if you're motivated enough, man, I truly believe a man can do anything he wants to do. You just got to be willing to pay the price, and if you want it bad enough. And I just I didn't want to be done. I love bodybuilding, man. I love competing. And I didn't want to, I was like, I'm not going to be done like this. This ain't how I'm going out. And like when I go out, it's going to be on my terms. And if I wasn't I just wanted it so bad, it didn't matter. I was willing to pay the price. And I was in, like I said, for 6 months, I lived in pain. And it was probably, I probably wasn't completely out of pain for over a year. And before finally, my leg, I thought at a certain point, my knee's just going to hurt, man. I'm like, fuck, this is just the way it's going to be. And then finally it went away. And I haven't had a pain since.
Yeah, I remember. I followed everything. And I saw you on that stage at the Arnold. Everybody, of course, was waiting. I said, what is the leg going to look like? You can see it it was a little smaller than the other leg. But what I liked about the way you handle it, you put that leg out to show it. Yeah. It's not like you try to hide it and use the better one. You use that one to show your striations and stuff. That was unbelievable.
Well, because if you try to hide it, then that's even going to draw more attention to it.
Right.
Come on. I'd be a fool to think people ain't going to know, ain't going to look. That's what everybody's waiting to see. So I'm like, I just put it out there. Here it is. I'll put it in your face. That's it. And if you look back at the pictures like the year before, my right leg was always a little bit smaller than the other leg anyway. It even measured a little bit smaller.
See? But when you don't look for it, you never know.
Yeah.
And this is what I tell people. When people tell me, I say, I got this little imbalance. Nobody is equal. Everybody has some kind of imbalance from one side to the other. Even the eyes, it doesn't matter what it is. So
You probably had one arm that was bigger than another arm, just like I did.
Exactly.
Everybody does.
Yes.
But you notice it, but unless you tell somebody and they really start looking, they don't even notice it.
Yeah.
But because of my injury, then everybody drew that attention to that and they saw it. So, but it was like, you look back on those previous pictures and previous years, and that leg was like, it measured a little bit smaller than the other leg did. So it,
growing up on a cattle ranch, how was that? I didn't even know. I just read that on Wikipedia.
Really? You didn't know that?
No.
Yeah, man. So I grew up in West Texas, man, on a cattle ranch, man. So that place has been in my family since the 1800s.
Is that why you're into hunting and all this? Is that because you were born into this?
Bro, when I grew up, there was two things to do: drink beer and hunt. That was it, man. It was like, the school was so small, man. Everybody had to try out for the football team to have a team, kind of thing. You know what I'm saying? It was just a small town, had like, I don't know, 2 stoplights in the whole town. And man, it wasn't shit. But if you were born there and you grew up there, you don't know no different. You're like, fuck, you just think that's how everybody else lives. You don't know no different. So I grew up there, and you just learn hard work, man. It's it's just, anybody who lives on a farm or ranch knows that it's just hard ass work. I had chores to do. We had horses and cattle and all these things, and you had to take care of them, and had to work, and that was just the way it was. So consequently, I transitioned to bodybuilding when I moved to Fort Worth, Dallas, man, I was like, so what? You got to get up early and do cardio. Been doing that my whole life. You got to work hard. Well, I've been doing that. That was just what you did. Mm-hmm. So I had that. My father and mother instilled that work ethic in me, and when I didn't know no different. So I think you hate it, but then now you get older and you appreciate it.
So what did you hunt? What was the most? I know you hunt boars, but what else was there?
Yeah, deer, boars, turkey, and of course we had birds, like quail and stuff like that. And in wintertime, I guess we had geese.
So you guys eat what you hunt?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, eat what you hunt. So that was just part of it. You hunted deer in the fall and you ate them. Same thing with the boar and everything else. So where do you think pork chops come from? Sausage.
So it's really, and you still do this today. I mean, it's not like you that was when you were younger. You still do it today.
I still do it. Yeah, it's when you do stuff like that, it's more about the experience, man. Having fun, having a good time. You go out with your boys, and if you get something, great. If you don't, that's okay too, as long as you have fun. So it's not about do I still eat this stuff? Absolutely, I still eat it, because I don't think you should kill something if you don't eat it.
Right.
But it's not about. It's different when you grow up out there, because that's part of, that's part of your diet, I guess. Part of your living is you live off the land a little bit. Mm-hmm. So now, obviously, you don't have to live off the land, but it's just, I think, more the experience. And for me, like when I got done with Olympia every year, that was my getaway, man. To get away from and kind of chill. I'd take a couple of weeks, go hunting, get away from everybody, no cell phones, no computers, and just chill. And by the time I come back, I was ready to go back to the gym and start training. So
do you go like on hunting days, or you go on hunting trips where you go for a few days?
For deer hunting or elk hunting or something, we go to the mountains. So that's a trip. I mean, you got to go out and you're going to be away for, a week to 14 days. Wild boar stuff, man, they're everywhere, bro. I mean, they're inside the city limits of Dallas. So them things are everywhere. So we go and drive a few 20, 30 minutes and go hunt. For the people that don't know, when he says hunting wild boars, it's not like they go there and they shoot them. I can't even believe I'm saying this. You're coming to do this. I'm coming, but listen, this is how Branch hunts a boar. He sets his dog to corner this thing. Then he goes and he sticks a knife into that boar, like there's no guns on this planet. Tell me why? Why do people hunt with a knife? Well, man, think about it. If you got to go out in the woods and you've got a couple of dogs or something, and it's to find them, you need the dogs. Dogs can smell it. They can track it down, find it. So do you train those dogs? Are they trained, or this is just comes natural? You have 2 types of dogs. You have the bay dogs, which are the ones that got the noses. Them things can run all day, all night. They don't get winded, and they can track them down. Once they catch one, then you either have American Bulldog or a Pit Bull, and you keep him with you. And he's got Kevlar vest on, cut collar, and he's like a gladiator. And when you get up close, you keep him with you because he can't run all day like they can. So he's the muscle. It's like us.
Yeah.
We ain't gonna run all day, but we good in a sprint. So you get in close, you turn him loose, and he goes in. And he actually catches the thing, and then once he catches it, you got to run in and grab it. He usually catches on the ear or the nose. So then you get about the back leg and get him stretched out, and then you stick him in. It's over.
Where did you stick him? You stick him in the throat or
the throat or the heart? So it's just as effective as a gunshot, if not more. So I mean, you hear the term "bleed like a stuck pig." When you hit money, it's over real quick. So there's minimal suffering to the animal.
Did you ever run into a hunt where there was problems, like a boar that went nuts? And did you ever injure yourself or a dog?
Yeah, I mean that is, you're out doing your hunting and you're in the woods and animal, boars can be dangerous. So we've had some dogs get hurt before. The bay dogs usually, if they're smart, if young ones, it's a learning curve. If they watch the older ones and learn from them, they know to keep their distance. They don't get hurt. Get the young ones usually, they try to go in there and try to, get hold of that thing before the bulldog gets there, and they can get hurt. So, the bulldogs usually put the Kevlar and the cut collar and all that on them. That's all we put it on them, is to protect them. And they usually, same thing. Once they get through those first few hunts, they learn, and they're solid. You ain't got to worry about them.
So how many do you guys catch in one night or one day?
Man, anywhere from, sometimes you strike out, but not very often. I'd say 90% of the time we're successful. So you might get one, you might get 8, 9, 10.
Wow.
Hunt. So I took Guy Cisternino here a couple months back. So he had a blast.
I remember we talked about it a little bit when we were on Ford's Rate My Physique, you remember?
Oh,
and
yes.
you said, because I remember I was like, I know I can shoot him. But with a knife, knowing this thing is about to go nuts.
Man, it sounds crazy what it is. It's a rush though. So it's all, you get a good, as long as you trust your dog, man. When you go up there, and because you'll see what bulldogs and pit bulls were bred for. As soon as you pull out their gear, they start going nuts, man. They love it.
Oh, he already knows.
He knows, and it's with them. It's just natural instinct. You really don't even have to train them, man. They know. Wow. And they love it. And they go in there, and you'll see, okay, this is what these things were bred for, not to be house dogs. So
there's a lot of them in Dallas?
Yeah, there's a ton. I forget how many millions of hogs there are in Texas, but it's insane.
So if I'm coming down to your show, would we be hunting in Houston or in Dallas?
Well, if you come down, it depends. We could do Houston. Depends how much time you got. We can go. I know a guy got a place about an hour, probably west of Houston. We can go, or we can come back up to Dallas, and we got about 10 or 11 places up here. We can go. Yeah,
we gotta connect with Fuad, because I know he wanted to go too, because that's something I got to. There's no other way. I have to go through this at least once. I don't know if I can stab him, but give me a chance to shoot him somewhere. All right, French, talking about your bodybuilding career, which is unbelievable career. I looked it up again, and I was like, wow, you had an unbelievable bodybuilding career. You went through ups and downs. You had highs and lows. Lows, looking at your injury, your quad injury. You also tore your triceps. Was that in the middle of your career, or was that at the end?
So I tore my tricep. So I guess it was 2003 or 4. I was getting ready for the GNC Show of Strength.
Oh, so you still competing when that happened?
Yeah. So I was, I was close to the show, a couple weeks out, and maybe 3 or 4 weeks out, and we were inclining, went real heavy, and that was on me. My elbow had been hurting me, kind of tendonitis kind of thing. But you're training for the show. You're like, all right, after the show, I'll let it rest, because you don't want to back off, because you're getting ready for the show. And we were doing incline, and man, it snapped. And remember, it went down on my chest. It snapped, and I just came down, let it rest on my chest. And I told Johnny, I said, yo, man, something happened, bro. You got to help me here. And they pulled the weights off and got it off me. And I felt that I could still flex it, but I knew something was wrong, so it didn't completely roll up. So I went ahead and did the show, competed, and I think I got fourth.
Oh, so you went on to compete with a partially torn triceps.
Yeah. I believe I got fourth in that show, and then came back that week and had it reattached. It wasn't completely detached, but it was hanging on by thread. So still managed to salvage something out of it. And then I tore the other one a few years later, right before I guess in 2008. I was when I was upstairs. We had hardwood stairs. I had socks on. I was expecting a call. Man, I'm trying to run down the stairs to get to the phone, and I had them socks on. I just slipped and I fell, and I tried to, you try to catch yourself, and I'm about 270 pounds or whatever it was, and right on freaking my tricep and snap. I'm like, you got to be kidding me, man! I just did this, and I'm freaking walking down the stairs. So just a stupid.
Do you think it has maybe something to do with the way you train? That I just don't want to believe that the tendon just snapped because you had to hold yourself. Don't you think it was maybe already, I don't want to call it brittle, but somewhat already pre-injured?
I think what it is, I think when you train, I think train probably contributed to it. But like when that happened with the stairs, I didn't have any pain in that elbow. I didn't have any at all. The other one, when I heard it in the gym, inclining, that's on me because it'd been killing me, and I just kept, ignoring it and training through it. And, I should have backed off and let it rest and heal. But, so that was on me. This one, I think just that, with that falling, and that force, that jerking feeling, I think that just, does training have something to do with it? Maybe.
Yeah, because
but people do that every day though, right. And they don't even train. So I honestly can't say.
I just don't know if a healthy tendon would snap that easy. That's why I think maybe it was already, I don't know, was it maybe already inflamed?
It may have been injured, and I just didn't feel it. It may have been weakened. I can't really. I've thought about it more times than I can remember.
Because I thought about mine when I tore my biceps tendon. I do not want to believe that a biceps tendon can tear by wiping your ass. You know what I'm saying?
But I think we train for so long and so heavy for so many years, and then when you do something that we're not like falling or just reaching around at some weird angle or something, I think if it's weakened.
Branch, I wipe my ass every day just like training.
I remember when you told me that at the Olympia, man, I was like, man, I felt bad for you, but man, I couldn't help but laugh. I was like, come on, man.
I swear to God, I reached back, and all of a sudden I felt a shock. It's like being electrocuted. I was like, and it was immediately sore, instantly. So I was like, what the hell? But I didn't see anything. I was like, okay, maybe is this a bad move?
Yeah.
So there was like 2 days before the FIBO in Germany. So now I'm at the FIBO. You know how it is at the FIBO. You got these lines. They want to come take pictures with you. And the first thing they do before they take the picture, they come in and and it's always, bam, bam, for 3 days. I swear. Fourth day, Sunday, I said, I'm not going to make it today. I left. I didn't even stay there. So I came back to the U.S. I did an MRI. And the doctor told me it's hanging off a thread. And you can see it. He showed it to me. So what he wanted to do is he said he went in, and he just disconnected it from here, basically, and connected the biceps tendon somewhere in my armpit. I don't know how that works. Somewhere, my biceps tendon is here now instead of up here. And he said to me, while I'm in there, I'm going to look at your shoulder because I had no shoulder problems. But he said that I had a labrum tear. He had to put 2 anchors in, rotator cuff. He said he fixed everything while he was in there.
Didn't even know you had it.
No. No. See, that would have been probably the next thing, and the pain would probably, who knows?
Yeah.
And since then, I asked him, I said, when he was done, I said, so what about this side? I said, do you think it's going to be the same? He said, unless you have pain, don't say nothing. And I've been training ever since. But when I train, I feel this shoulder. This shoulder is totally perfectly fine. But now I feel this one. But I'm scared to do an MRI because they might want me to do the same thing.
Yeah, if you can still train, live with it.
Yeah, and I don't train heavy no more. That's why I don't understand. You retired. Did you retire in 2015?
March 2016.
So you did the Arnold in March then. Was that your last show?
That was the last one.
Okay. So why do you still train the way you train?
We don't train near as heavy or hard as we used to.
Branch, come on. I know you might not use the same weight, but the same intensity.
I don't think we train that hard anymore.
No?
We still train hard, but it ain't like
but for
it ain't like it used to be.
I know, but for a retired bodybuilder, don't you think it would be maybe? I don't want to say smart because you train the way you train because that's how you train. But don't you think this? Are you not worried about injuries?
I am very much so, and I don't do anything that. Everything I do, I perfectly. If I have any pain, something don't feel right, I just don't do it.
Okay.
And
So you
I
back
listen to my
off.
body. Yeah, I listen to my body. If something's sore, don't feel right, I just take off. I don't train. Like last week, I took off. I missed 3 workouts because I had a little something going on, and I was like, you know what, I ain't worried about it. And so I train the way I train because I like to train. Do I train as hard or as heavy as I used to? Nah, I don't. I don't want to. But I still like to train, and I love this shit. What can I say?
Yeah, I know you do, and it shows. It's just I just don't want to see people, injure themselves, when it's not even necessary.
100%. And I'm around a lot of my good friends that have just trained themselves into the ground, and I've seen what they've done because they just wouldn't chill. And I told myself I'm not going to be one of those guys, and I don't want knee replacements and shoulder replacements or something worse.
Right.
And right now I feel really good. I have no chronic injuries. After everything I've gone through and the way I trained for 25 years, 30 years, I feel really good.
That's good.
And I get up, I run 2.5 miles every morning.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And
You mean you run, or you?
I jog 2.5 miles.
What's your body weight now?
220, 225, somewhere in
You
there.
have no problems? No,
I have no problems.
I tried that, bro. I tried. I don't want to tell you what happened.
But when it started, man, so when everything locked down last year, so I had a buddy, and he wanted to, get in shape. He had to get in shape for what he does for work, and he's a cop, and he had the SWAT team trial or whatever it was, and he's like, yo, man, we train with me for this? I'm like, yeah. So we started walking, and we walk a lap, jog a lap, walk a lap, jog. Then we started, we jogged 2 laps, and man, it took it didn't happen overnight. It took a
while.
2-3 months, but we got to where I could run 2.5 miles nonstop.
How long did you run the first time? The first time you tried?
Man, I made a lap. I got a lap around the track, and I was like, oh, this sucks. And so I walked a couple more laps, and I was like, I'm done for the day. And eventually got where we do a mile walking and alternating walking and jogging, and then we're like, all right, let's do a mile and a half, and then we got to where we could do 2 miles. And so we're running a mile, walking a mile, but we're alternating every lap. And then I was like, all right, let's try to run 2 laps, and then you walk a lap and then run 2 laps, and then just over time we just worked up to where.
So now you're good for 2.5 miles, no problems.
No problem.
Yeah, I tried it because I figured I used to play soccer. I played soccer for 14 years. I would run all day.
Yeah.
As a teenager, I would run all day. I wouldn't even get tired. So I was like, you know what? Because that's the last time I ran. Was in my soccer days. So I'll go where I walk my dog in the mornings. I'll go down to the park, and there's a lap around the park. And I was like, you know what? I used to ride the bike with the dog around, let the dog lap me on the bike. So I said, let me try to walk fast, and then, I'm going to slowly go into jogging, because I wanted to do the same. Because I have a friend from Spain, he's a bodybuilder, and now he runs 10 miles. I was like, you know what? And I try to run, not fast, but just jog, but like I used to. Man, I had about 20, 30 steps in me. I was like, after 20, 30 steps, my right calf said, I might could tear my calf. I was like, I don't believe this. I can't even run no more. So I started walking again, so I think, you know what? Let me do cardio. So I'd rather do 2 hours of Stairmaster than running, because for me, I think I'm just still too heavy.
Yeah. No, there's no way. When I was heavier, there's no way. No way.
So you're 225 and you feel okay?
I feel great.
I can't get my weight down to 220, man. I don't even know what to do.
Man, you know how I stopped doing? I like to eat. And I can eat a lot. And I just had to stop eating. I had to cut out a meal or two and just stop eating so much. And then eventually it started coming down.
Trust me, I did the same, man. I eat 3 meals a day. You know how much protein? I have 3 eggs in the morning for breakfast. I have 100 grams of fish twice a day.
And it still won't come down.
Still won't come down. 240. If I make it down to 238, because I do 2 hours of cardio every day, so by Saturday morning, I might be 238. Saturday, I cheat. By Monday morning, I'm back to 245. That's just the way it is. I don't have to do nothing but have an extra meal or cheat just a little bit. I can't get it down to 220. That was my goal, 220. I don't know what to do. Do I have to catch a disease or something?
Man, you know what? I told my wife, I was like, when I retired, I was like, I was in shape for what I did. Just like, what we did. We trained a certain way because we had a goal. And I said, now that I'm done competing, I said, I want to be in shape for life. And I want my heart to be strong, cardiovascular to be good. And so that's something that I made good on. And now I ain't gonna stop it. There's mornings I get up, I'm like, I don't do this shit.
Right.
And but I'm like, if I stop, then it's easier the next day. It's easier to say, I'll skip today.
I'm the same way.
It was so hard to get to where I'm at. I'm like, I ain't stopping. So even if it's bad weather, I'll just jump on the step mill, do the step mill.
I'm the same way. There's days now I miss workouts. I have no problem not training, but I don't miss cardio because I don't know why. I just love to do cardio, and I think this is the only thing that keeps me where I'm at right now. Because if I would stop cardio, I would probably be 260 in a week.
Yeah. But the thing about cardio is like I hate starting it, but when I'm done with it, I'm like, I'm glad I did it. I feel good.
Yeah.
So
that's the problem. Is people see me and like, oh, he's still on the juice. It's like, guys, you have no idea how hard it is for me to lose weight.
Yes.
And it's been like this forever. I mean, when I started bodybuilding, I was 190, 195 pounds. It's not like I started with 150 or 160.
You were big and muscular.
Always. So
that's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
It's like I told somebody, take all that stuff. I'm like, well, you know what? You take all that stuff away, you still have the same top 10 guys at Olympia. They don't weigh as much.
Same thing, exactly. Yeah, people don't understand that. I remember our careers were it's almost the same time. I was in there a little. When did you turn pro?
2001.
2001. Okay, so 3 years after me. So, but I remember you started competing as a pro 2003.
2003.
Yeah. So, and then you started coming up, and then we were just going back and forth. Me and you, we were just beating each other, and until you started winning the Arnolds, and then you placed second, 2009, to Jay Cutler. That's when you took off. Okay. What did that do to you, man? Place a second at the biggest show on the planet, where you basically say, listen, that's one more and I could win this thing. Did you believe in the years prior that you would ever be able, that you would get this close to winning the title? Was that really in your mind?
I'd be lying if I say I didn't dream about winning Olympia. I'm sure all of us did.
I'm not talking about the dreaming.
Yeah. So, of course, that was your dream. Of course, that's any kid that's ever lifted weights or thought about competing or did compete. That's the ultimate goal. Getting second to Olympia is the most, I've said it before, it's the worst place in bodybuilding. It is. It's the worst place in bodybuilding. I'd rather have fifth, honestly. I mean, because you're so close and you had that one big step left to win the ultimate prize and you didn't get it. And I just, it was like I remember I went back to my room. I didn't know whether to freaking laugh or cry. And I was like, damn.
But unfortunately, you had the best Jay Cutler that year coming back.
That's what I was about to say is like Jay came back at his all-time best. I think it's his lightest body weight he ever competed at in Olympia, but he looked the best he ever looked. I think he was better than he was in 2001. And he looked incredible. And I talked to the head judge afterwards, or a couple years, about a year later, so I think before the next Olympia. And he said, well, he goes, if Jay hadn't been his all-time best, it was yours.
Yeah. If he would have came in like 2008 or 2007, you would have had a Mr. Olympia Sandow at your house, brother. But for that, you got all the damn Arnolds. How many Arnolds did you win total?
I won two.
Two. So you never traveled for an Arnold out of the country?
I never did one out of the country.
Okay, so you got two Arnolds. How many most muscular?
6.
Shit, damn.
So
you got plenty.
I think I would have had 7, but they quit giving it out.
They stopped.
They stopped, and I think they brought it. Back, didn't they?
I
can't remember. Yeah, they stopped giving them out.
Well, if they did, I don't remember. I don't know who won it.
Because the Arnold, man, they started like pulling back stuff. They gave out best poser. You got cash prize for that. The most muscular trophy. And I think the trophy is like 25 G's or something.
Wow.
And then you would get a watch if you won, and you get all this other cool stuff, and plus the money. And they kind of started pulling all that stuff back. And I think it was just down to just the money. But so hopefully, I thought they were going to start putting all that stuff back.
I don't remember.
Anything they put in for the athletes, I'm all for.
Yeah.
So
2016 2016 was your last Arnold. What did you know before the Arnold that you're going to retire after the show?
I did the 2015 Arnold. I got second to Dexter. Went to Olympia and got 5th, I believe.
In 2016?
15. So
okay.
the September 15, I think I got 5th at the 5th, or I think it's 5th. Don't hold me to that.
All right, I'll tell you.
I can't remember, Dennis.
2015, you got
5th or 6th.
6th.
Yeah. So somewhere between September and March of the next year, I turned 41. I think the week of the Arnold in 16, and my body changed. That whole prep. I started training, and stuff just wouldn't happen, man. I was doing everything the way I just did a few months earlier, and I'm like, it just you start seeing things change, and it ain't positive.
Oh yeah.
And you start trying to figure out, okay, what can I do? And nothing seems to. You can't correct it. And just trying to keep my body weight up. I was eating more food than ever, and my body weight would just keep falling. And I'm like, what the hell is going on? And I remember I talked to Jay, and he told me his last Olympia, that's what happened. He couldn't keep his weight up. He goes, everything was just, you're seeing changes that were negative. And he goes, I'm more focused than ever because of things are going in the wrong direction. And he goes, they just kept going in the wrong direction. And I went there and I got 5th at the Arnold. And I always said, if those young guys start slipping past me and beating me, then I'm going out on my terms.
That's a sign that your body's giving you. And a lot of people, they just ignore signs, and I realized that I try to hold on to as long as possible because I competed till I was 44, but I already knew that this is it because, once you look at yourself and if you're realistic, you look at yourself and you're like, you're no longer fighting for your dream. Say now it's just trying to hold on, not to slide back even further. Yeah. So that was my decision to retire. Why didn't you retire off stage or why didn't you make an official retirement? Because we still don't know officially you're retired.
I'm retired. Ain't no doubt about that, fellas. I'm done. I didn't really know, to tell you the truth. I was fighting it, and I got there, and I knew I wasn't at my best. Just like we never admit that stuff when you're competing, but like a weakness, you'll never admit you have a weakness when you're competing, but everybody knows what they need to work on. And so I didn't really know. I got to the show, and I got down to finals, went to the room, and I told my wife, I was like, that was it. She goes, "You're sure?" I'm like, "I'm sure." I go, it's just, there's no, it's just going to get worse. I said, look at how much my physique changed in the past 6 months. And I go, what did I do different? I go, I did the same thing I did for Olympia 6 months ago. And I said, my body's, it's just age. I said, it's just most people, when they get in their 40s, early 40s, it changes, and some people hold on a little bit longer, some people don't, but 41. And I was like, I turned pro, I was 25. And so I'm like, I'm good.
So how old are you now? 46?
46.
46, yeah. I almost got 10 years on you, my man. Feel old as shit. My daughter turned 28 today, man. 28. When you tell people, how old are you? 28. What is that? They look at me like, are you that old? It's like, yeah. Bro, man. So life as a retired bodybuilder. I mean, the good thing is to see you went in healthy, you came out healthy. That was my goal, and I wish this for everybody that goes into the sport, that they come out and they understand there's certain things that you have to do now. You can't just let yourself go, start eating all the bullshit, get fat and lazy. That's just the worst thing you can do. But what is Branch's regular day now as a retired bodybuilder? I know you got the businesses to take care of.
So I've got weekly cuts. That's my primary focus on right now outside of my family. Because I've got my wife, my daughter's in gymnastics and riding horses and doing all that stuff. And so, I get up at 6 a.m., do my cardio, eat breakfast. Daughter, either me or my wife, one takes my daughter to school. And then I take off for the gym and meet Johnny. We still train either at a Metroflex or Destination. And take a shower, come to work and put my hours in at the work, and then go home and enjoy life. Try to spend as much time as I can with my family. Because that's one thing I want to say is, if you're going to be a top bodybuilder, and you want to be a Mr. Olympia caliber bodybuilder, you're going to be a selfish, self-centered person. Whether that's you or not, you will become that. Because if you're going to be the best in that sport, it's about you all day long. It's about your cardio. It's about your diet, your training. You, me. And you take way more than you give. And, when you have a family, that's hard it puts a lot of stress. Most guys, me and Trish survived this whole thing. And we're still together and doing good, but most couples don't. True. Because it's just it's a selfish sport, and it makes you that way if you're going to be good. So when I retired, I was like, you know what, it's time for me to start giving back, to my family and being a better husband and a better father. Right. So when I get home at night, I try to spend as much time with them and on the weekends, and being locked down last year and not traveling for the first time. That helped a lot. Yes. That helped a lot. Yes, for me too. I mean. Me and my wife been together for 29 years, man. So we went through all this, the whole bodybuilding career, and it's not like Trish. Trish, she's a competitor herself. She's IFBB pro. She understands where your mind can go sometimes. Once you compete. So, but for her, it was a little different because she went through the whole scenario from the beginning to the end, and then after my bodybuilding career, which. I didn't think I was that bad, at the time. I realized later that I wasn't really that good either. You know what I mean? Oh, I know. That's me. I wasn't that bad. And I got this look like you have no idea what you're talking about. So
I think the good thing for me was that I remember I left Thailand like the last 2-3 months before the show to prepare in the States. So, I wasn't, always around. That's the good part, until other than the last years when we were living in the U.S. So, but I'm happy. I can see you're happy, you're doing well, and I love it. I want to talk to you about one more thing before I let you go, and that is the new crop of bodybuilders, the Olympia lineup as of today compared to our era or even the era before. What do you see is happening in bodybuilding? You followed the Olympia last year. What was I just want to get your intake on the Olympia 2020. Phil Heath coming back, Brandon Curry trying to repeat, and Big Ramy coming in to upset the whole card.
Well, congratulations. I know you trained Ramy. You and I think Chad Nichols did his nutrition, right?
Chad did his nutrition, yes.
Yep. And you did his training, so congratulations. I said it back when I was competing against Ramy. I was like, if this dude ever gets hard, he beats everybody, because the Olympia is about being big, right? And he's the biggest guy on the scene now. I think the only person we've seen bigger than him was maybe Ronnie, and that had that same kind of size. Ronnie's probably put together a little bit better than Ramy is, but Ramy brought it, man. He came in hard, dwarfed everybody on stage, and I was sitting there for the prejudging, and since I saw everybody come out, I was like, it's his to lose. And I was like, unless he does something stupid between prejudging and finals, it's his. And I thought he walked away with it. Rest of the guys, Brandon's a great guy, man. And I love this guy, but his legs, and it just got exacerbated by standing next to Ramy. Ramy got the biggest damn legs probably in the history of the sport. And, Brandon's legs just don't match the upper body, man. And I thought Phil could have probably maybe even beat Brandon, because Phil wasn't his best. I had dinner with Phil this past Wednesday up in Denver, and we were talking, and I was like, I said, I thought he could have been second, just because I think Phil's just a better bodybuilder, more complete. But, he was smaller. The hernia issue was still a problem. And he was in shape, but he wasn't that crisp, hard, dry, full look that we got so accustomed to seeing for so many years when he was winning them Olympias. And, taking 2 years off like he did, and I know he wasn't training that hard. And once again, when you're in your 40s and you lose that size and you're trying to get it back, man, you're fighting an uphill battle. And
did he tell you what do you think the reason was for him not being the crisp of Phil? Did he over diet? Did he try to be too hard?
He didn't really he didn't really say.
Yeah.
I think he didn't really he didn't make no excuses.
Yeah.
He was just like, hey, it is what it is, man. I gave it all I had, and it is what it is.
You think he's coming back, or you think it's done?
It's done. Yeah, we were eating, and he goes, bro, I've lost 40 pounds. I'm like, welcome to the club.
Yeah.
So, and then, the guy from Hade from Iran, that little dude is complete, man.
Yes.
He's a little badass. And I can't say nothing negative about him, man. He looked good front, back, side to side. Conditioning was on point. He could have potentially, I think he will move up in the years to come.
Yeah.
So
if he would have came, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, I think if he'd have come in the morning like he did at the finals,
Friday.
Yeah, he could have.
He would have been second.
Yeah, he could have leapfrogged over everybody.
Yeah, because he was straight second on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
So if he would have came in Friday, the same area as Saturday, he would have probably been second.
Yeah,
and he flew in like 3 days before the Olympia, not knowing if he can even make it.
I wish they would take politics out of sports. And I'd let the guy. He's a top athlete, man. Let the dude. I wish that would be across the board. Leave sports alone, man. Let people compete and do their thing without having to get politics involved. But
one last thing.
That's I guess who was next? Bonac, right? Got fifth.
Bonac got fifth. Yeah.
Yeah. So Bonac, I thought he was flat since he walked out. He wasn't at his best. The first thing I noticed was his shoulders and chest were flat with his physique. Kind of reminds me of my physique. He's got a wider waist. He's got great legs, arms. But if he's flat, let's say everybody goes flat first, and then it throws him off. He wasn't as good as we saw him when he was, second or third at the Olympia.
Yeah.
And then Akeem, I guess, was sixth. Best I've ever seen Akeem. Man, he just brings it a little bit tighter. That dude's gonna be dangerous.
Yeah, he can move up. He can move up for sure.
Move up.
Yeah.
So,
last question for you, Branch. Last question for you. I want to bring this up before I let you go. People comparing Nick Walker to Branch Warren. They think Nick Walker is someone that looks like Branch Warren. Do you agree?
That dude is huge, bro. He's way bigger than I was. I mean, I don't know what he weighs, but he's 300 plus probably.
No,
he's not.
No.
How big is he?
I don't know. He's probably, on stage, maybe 230, 240.
Oh, really? All right. Well, 'cause I was like in the low 240s.
Yeah.
He's the dude's a monster. He trains hard, trains heavy.
Do you see yourself when you see him? Do you see any similarities? Physique-wise, body parts?
I don't see it. I think, he's his own. I think Nick is his own bodybuilder, man. I think he's got what he's got. And he's making the most of it. And, we'll see how he does in the pros. I mean, he's got all the parts. He's got all the ingredients. So if he can dial it in and come in tight, he'll do some damage.
I think he's definitely the future. Yeah, absolutely. I see that too. Do you see anybody in from the newer guys that's going to make an impact this year?
I think Nick Walker going forward in the future. I think, like you said, I think he'll be a force to be reckoned with. I think Hunter Labrada, I've seen him. He won his first show was my show in Houston. He won that show, and I followed him because I knew his father and really well, and I followed his whole career as he's moved up through the Nationals and turned pro and went to Tampa. Saw him. So every time he steps on stage, he's better than the time before. So I predict he'll be up in that top 5 slot here in the next year or two. I think he'll be up there. I think Hade, and as long as he doesn't get stopped from coming over here, he might get him.
I heard something yesterday. Read something yesterday where he's saying something like coming to the U.S. now. So he's coming early. So he knows. Yeah, he knows. And I think that he's going to be very, very, very dangerous. And I tell everybody, I said, I think the biggest threat to Rami is how do you chill pattern at this moment, at this time, because you know he's gonna bring the condition.
Oh yeah, I've never seen that. I saw him off that one time he competed in Korea at the 212 against Flex, and his stomach was distended. But that's the only time I've seen him off, and he corrected that, and he's been on point ever since. And
but he was still peeled though. His stomach was off, but he was peeled.
I love my boy Flex, man, but had that stomach been in check?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, no. He has all the details that we looking bodybuilders, from the chest, shoulders, the striations everywhere.
Everything.
I mean, it's ridiculous. So
I think, that being said, Lon's right. If Rami can just show up like he did last year, it's his to lose.
Yeah,
I can't see. He's just, he's so big, and he's got the conditioning he brought. If he can bring that again,
yeah,
I don't see anybody touching him.
I think he can get better, and that's scary. Knowing,
I agree with it because I don't think he was 100%.
No,
and I think he won like I told, I was sitting next to Mel Chansey, and I said, he just won the Olympia, and I go, he still won 100%. I go, so he can actually improve and get even better.
Yeah.
And I said, if he does that, then ain't nobody gonna touch him. But if he comes in off,
oh yeah,
as we all know, he's
top
not open.
There's 6-7 guys can beat him.
Absolutely.
And they proved it every year. I mean, listen, last year he won the Olympia, and in March he was beat by Dexter Jackson and William Bonac. So there's no, I mean, it's not like Rami is a shoo-in to win the Olympia. He needs to bring the condition, because if it's not, he can be as far as out of the top 6.
Yeah, 100%.
Absolutely possible. Branch, brother, I appreciate you. I'm looking forward to coming down to Texas, man, to do some hunting with you. And if I have to stick this damn thing, I will stick it for you.
But man, let me know when you're coming, brother. In this
yeah, as soon as I know about the tour, and if that's not happening, then I will definitely come out for your show. The show is June 26th. You said
June 26th, Energy Center, Houston, Texas. We got the show. We got CrossFit, battleground jiu-jitsu, powerlifting, strongman, arm wrestling, all kinds of stuff.
Awesome, and everything's back with full capacity. Nobody cares.
Texas 100% open.
Yeah.
So full capacity. Masks are optional. So
awesome, brother. I'm gonna connect with Fuad to make sure we come out there together, because I want to see him stick one too. All right, brother.
It'll be a blast. You let me know.
Thank you for your time, my man. I appreciate you, man. Take care,
DJ,
and
take care,
say hi to the family for me.
I will. Thank you.
Take care, brother. Bye bye.
All right, bye bye.